Hey everybody, welcome to Everything's Plastic. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Homecoming 2-pack, and this is Ned Leeds and Peter Parker. We'll get it going by taking a quick look at artwork and pictures on the side here. Spider-Man Homecoming artwork on this side, Spider-Man symbol on the top, Parker, all that good stuff on the bottom. On the back here we have a picture of Peter Parker and Ned Leeds with their accessories on the back. I gotta say, man, I'm not a fan of this windowless packaging, but as far as packaging goes, these are actually nice looking boxes. Very nice artwork, very nice designs, awesome looking packaging, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you can't see your figure before you buy it. So that's pretty much it. Let's crack these open and get a closer look. Like we see on the back of the box there, Peter Parker comes with 2 fisted hands, comes with a textbook, pretty plain, no design or anything on that one. And he comes with a smiling head sculpt, which is pretty cool, man. It's not a bad design on this one. Pretty cool design on the hair. Pretty decent sculpt overall. Definitely a likeness to Tom Holland. And pretty clean paint application on this head sculpt as well. For Ned, it comes with just a plain, almost expressionless head sculpt. In my opinion, there's definitely a likeness to Ned. And the paint application and overall design of this one is nice and clean as well. Also for Ned, he comes with a school bag. Nice camel design. Overall, not a bad design to this one at all. Inside looks pretty cheap, but everything else looks good. You see some pockets, some zippers, and all that kind of stuff. The zippers and all that stuff are not painted. Peter Parker comes with one as well, but his comes on in the package. There's a little bit of detail into this one. Alright, now we went over accessories. Let's get a closer look at these guys. Alright, we get a closer look at Ned first. Pretty cool design in the Spider-Man mask. I think it looks great. We have a pretty decent sculpt for this one. There are some wrinkles just to break it up, so that it's not just a plain piece of straight plastic. Cool design on his shirt and behind here. Paint application on those are pretty decent. A little bit messy in some places, but overall, from a distance, it looks pretty good. Ned does have a watch that's not painted, just a plain piece of black plastic. We do see some wear or acid wash or whatever you want to call it in his jeans, which is pretty cool. I never noticed it when I opened up my son's a while back. And for his shoes, just a plain piece of gray plastic, no laces or anything like that painted. So overall, just a pretty plain design to this one. Closer look at that head sculpt. We'll pop on his unmasked head sculpt. Like I said, pretty decent likeness, man. I think they did a good job with this one overall. Pretty excited to have this one. Let's pop his school bag on. Straps are long enough so it pops on nice and easy. And it also fits pretty well. Looks pretty cool. No real issues with this one whatsoever. Then we get down to Peter Parker. Pretty plain, expressionless face. But I think overall it does definitely have a likeness to Tom Holland. And pretty clean paint application to this one. Pretty cool design on his hair like I previously mentioned with the other head sculpt. I like his plaid shirt in behind there. Pretty cool detail. Really nice paint application on that. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. We do have the bottom of the shirt sticking out here as well. And the paint application on that is nice and clean. Other than that, just a plain green sweater, beige khaki pants, whatever you want to call it. A little bit of detail on that, with a little bit of design in his shoes. At least it's not all one color. Would like it if his laces were painted. At least the soles, or the outline of the soles, is painted on his shoes. So from a distance, like I said, I think this one looks fantastic. Definitely going to be displaying Ned without the mask on. I think it looks better. Obviously, he only had the mask on for a quick second in the movie anyways. We had a closer look, so let's go over articulation. Let's start with Ned. So for Ned, his head goes back this far, down this far. So pretty decent range of motion on that. A little bit stiff. You do get a little bit of side to side, not a whole lot. Full rotation. Shoulders go up this far, go all the way around. Single jointed elbows, they go to pretty much 90 degrees. You do have a rotation there, and his wrists go back and forth and all the way around. There is no ab crunch, but there is a rotation at the waist if you want it. His legs come out this far, so not quite a full split. Go forward this far, pretty restricted, especially by his shirt and all this stuff. This is a stiff, hard plastic. You're not going to get much movement out of that. Back this far, so somewhat restricted going back as well. There is upper thigh cut, double joint pin knees, which you get awesome range of motion out of that. And for his ankles, it goes back this far, forward this far, so pretty restricted going back and forth, but you do get a full rotation. Yeah, pretty stiff, but it is restricted by his pins. Didn't expect to get a whole lot of articulation out of this one anyways. Just glad to finally have a Ned for our collection. Alright, for Peter Parker, his head goes back this far, a little bit restricted by his hair, down this far. His head does go side to side, and full rotation. There's articulation in his neck as well. That goes side to side, back and forth. His arms go up this far, all the way around. There's no butterfly joint or anything like that. There's a bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows, which are great. All four hands go back and forth and all the way around. There's an ab crunch here as well. It goes back this far, down this far, so pretty restricted going forward. You get some side to side and a full rotation. There's a full rotation at the waist too. Like I previously mentioned with Ned, this is a very hard, stiff plastic. Off camera, when I took this guy out to go over articulation, kind of loosen him up a bit, you can get a full rotation. It is a possibility, almost a full split. Legs go forward this far, pretty decent going forward. Back a little bit, there is a upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, which are fantastic. No boot cut or anything like that, but for his feet, it goes back this far, forward this far, and you can get full range of motion. So pretty standard articulation, not bad articulation at all, to be honest. I actually really like this one. So articulation for Peter Parker, obviously it's going to be better than Ned anyways. Obviously he is Spider-Man, so you would expect a bit more articulation out of Spider-Man. Ned is pretty restricted, but overall the appearance of this one is fantastic, and I'm just happy to have a Ned in my collection, so I'm not going to harp on articulation. We'll do just a quick comparison. I was going to pop this one on, but we'll just do a side-by-side comparison of the two head sculpts. Pretty similar hair design in both of these. The only difference is this one having a little grin, little laugh, little smirk, whatever you want to call it, on his face. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. I think I'm going to keep the more serious look. Just like that one better. Alright, for comparisons, we'll just do a comparison to two other Spider-Mans. This is Spider-Man Homecoming as well, which is probably one of my favorite Spider-Mans that I own, especially MCU Spider-Mans. I think this one looks fantastic. And then we have the upgraded suit one, which is the Walmart exclusive. Ned and Peter Parker, obviously, Peter Parker being Spider-Man, should all be the same scale anyways, but all four figures are pretty much the same height. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and figure review. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I just love it. I have such an attachment to this movie. It's definitely one of my favorite MCU movies and one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I think Homecoming was a fantastic movie. Paint application is solid on both figures. We do have some accessories for each. Pretty cool design, and I think backpacks and all that stuff are fantastic as well. So I think 9 out of 10 is a pretty fair score for the Spider-Man Homecoming Ned Leeds Peter Parker 2-pack. If I had to rate Peter Parker, I definitely give Peter Parker a 9.5 out of 10. The face sculpt is fantastic. The overall detail in the figure is fantastic as well. Ned on the other side looks fantastic. I think it's great, man. They could have put a bit more paint on his shoes and that kind of stuff just to make it stand out a little bit more, make it look a little less plasticky. I know it's plastic figures, but what can I say, man? I like detail. If I had to rate Ned out of 10, I'd definitely give him an 8.5 out of 10. The only real major thing with him would be articulation. The articulation, in my opinion, is good enough for this figure, and I think it can do whatever you need it to do. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this box set, what you think of our review, and what do you think of our rating out of 10. If you had to rate this 2-pack out of 10, what would you give it? If you liked the review, don't forget to hit that like button, and that subscribe button is there as well if you want to subscribe and help the channel. Getting very close to 1,000 subs. Any support and any help getting there would be greatly appreciated. As always, we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Keep collecting. Stay safe.